Alex Becker has been yelling about it for months. We've been talking about Alex Becker yelling about it for months, and it's finally here, guys. Altcoin season index has flicked into the beautiful blue zone, reached a rating of 78, and officially made it altcoin season. On top of this, we also have a 58 on the crypto fear and greed index, borderline being greedy and bouncing off the lows of 40, heading back towards that extreme greed. But alt season is why we're here, and this chart is really important. It's called the total 3 chart. And you can see over the last 6 months, it's up 38% from the lows down here. Over the last 1 month, it's still up 5.4%. And recently, you can see even over this last week, it's been ascending up almost 10%. The total 3 chart is every single crypto's market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So the top 2 blue chip tokens, take them out. How do we know when altcoin is starting? Well, the tokens below that will out-earn Bitcoin and Ethereum. And TechDev says, most seem to have no idea what is coming. Macro altcoin expansion has only just begun, plotting the altcoins excluding Bitcoin and ETH and showing how we are literally just heading up. It's got this nice little curved arrow that gives us a little bit more of a parabolic projection. And Ash Crypto says alt season index just hit 78. They've got a red zone over here on this graph. The real pump has just started. And guys, we've got some crazy candles today. Up 55%. This was actually up 80%. This is EMDR. I talked to you about this yesterday down here at that $20 million market cap. It's been a few months since we've seen things pump this much. This is up 55% on the day. It was up a high of 70% on the day, going from that 20 mil market cap all the way up to a fully diluted value of 51 mil or 31.9, where it's currently sitting right here. And this is a CryptoGodJohn and Alex Becker pick. Go watch my video yesterday for more information. OVPP has done insane things. It's looking like the new pin link. You can see down here when it launched, absolutely skyrocketed, sat horizontal as market sentiment was low, and has started to absolutely rocket and lead the return of alt season at a $165 million market cap. Guys, this is what altcoin season looks like, up 40 and 60 and 70% on the day. Becker says, oh, you're starting to understand why I said to be patient. Listen to Papi next time, senpai. Alt season. He's been telling you guys that alt season is coming for so long. And I'm going to show you why it's important to listen right now. Critical to listen right now. John says, it's been at least 6 to 8 months since we had new on-chain runners, talking about OVPP and EMDR, the 2 I just showed you. This is a good sign of what's to come these next few months. And he says few months. I think that's optimistic, unless we have another small pullback. But I think over the next couple of months, we could do some pretty impressive gains. Seasonality, I'm expecting ETH to outperform Bitcoin in October to the end of the year. If this holds true, I expect utility season, utility tokens, not meme coins, and he's going to mention this again in a second, to be back in full force. Becker says, what you're seeing with OVPP, the graph I just showed you earlier, is about to be what you'll see with most altcoins. It's called alt season, and its first triggers have appeared. Put on a diaper, your normie pants alone won't do for the load that is coming. And it's not just Becker and CryptoGodJohn's calls that are starting to rip. House of Crypto has been talking about Ether for a while. It literally had this God candle right here this week, all the way back up to all-time highs, literally from almost all-time lows. So these tokens, guys, are really moving, and this is what happens in alt season. I'm going to show you exactly what alt season looked like last season so you know how to lock in these gains for yourself. John says, seeing a shift back into utility coins over meme coins, a healthy and good sign for altcoins over the next few months. He also says here, higher for longer, because we've had a couple of flashes in the pan, just like December, January was really hot and a lot of people made a lot of money in crypto, but it was very short-lived, like about 4 to 6 weeks. And what I want to show you is if we zoom out, I'm going to go to all on the Bitcoin chart, you can see we've been in a bull run for a long time. You can see the lows down here at about that $16,000 per Bitcoin back in 2022. And since then, when you zoom out, and this is why Michael Saylor's like, if you just zoom out and hold Bitcoin for 4 years, you're going to be pretty happy because we've just been up, almost up only. We've had a couple of bigger pullbacks here, which felt crazy at the time, but all the way up to 115, 120,000 since 2022. And Ethereum is doing the same, guys. The top layer ones, this is why I take out Bitcoin and Ethereum, because when alt season runs, they run harder than these tokens, but it takes Ethereum and Bitcoin to run first. And Ethereum has run from 1400 all the way up to 4300. I mean, it peaked up here about 4800 US dollars. That is a crazy return from just April this year. These have been going up, even though sentiment may have been down. The top two tokens have been absolutely ripping, which means when altcoin season arrives, it's very important that you pay attention because you will lose your gains or miss out on your gains if you don't know this. This is Altura, and this was one of the best and quickest performing tokens back in the 2021 bull run. You can see down here, it was sitting at about 3 cents and a rip to over 40 cents in the period. This is what I want to highlight here, from the 21st of the 10th all the way up to the 3rd of the 11th. So literally 2 weeks. It ripped a 12x. Why did it rip a 12x? Well, because Alex Becker partnered with this in a really hot market and absolutely sent this thing flying, and a lot of people made crazy amounts of money on it. But guys, it went up pretty crazy, like 40, 60, 80% every day for 2 weeks, and then pulled back. And that was the all-time high. You only had 2 weeks to lock it in. And apart from that, if you don't sell that all-time high and your token gets pulled back about 40%, you're like, oh, we'll wait for it to go up again. It goes up, you're waiting for the all-time high, you don't get it, and it's going to drop to absolute zero like Altura did. Decentraland, which is one of the biggest narratives and did extremely well, had that early push that the metaverse was going to be the next big thing. And I'm going to tell you about narratives and Becker in just a second, just show you what it looks like this time around. But this thing pushed up from, I don't know, 10 cents all the way up to $1.40, which is awesome. You get a nice 14x. Dumped about 60 to 70% of its value, and then when Meta, or what was known as Facebook, changed its name to Meta, went absolutely nuclear. Guys, look for how long. This was October 25th, and at the top up here is November 29th. So literally had a month of up, which is decent. That's going to be a really fun month, and that's what Euphoria actually looks like, and the top actually looks like. And then a quick cliff. Vulcan Forge, we don't have to go through specifics on this one. Just know, unlike ETH, unlike Bitcoin, unlike Solana, which have been trending upwards for months, if not years, altcoins are going to be a flash in the pan. And you need to be positioned now, and you need to have an exit strategy for when they 10x, when they 20x, and when they 30x, and everyone's running around like headless chickens, including all the normies who flood the scene, throw a bunch of money at it. That's what you want to be here to collect. Becker says you're about to see real world assets, commodities, energies like OVPP, which is the token we've been showing you, AI, robotics, and gaming. These are the niches that he is betting on. He thinks they're going to get so hot that we will think money is no longer real, which is that euphoria. That's how you know we probably need to get out. The narrative that crypto is going to change every sector is here, and the bubble it will create will destroy the planet. Glory, glory, glory. Now, important thing to focus on here is this word. The narrative that crypto is going to change every sector is here, because last season, 2021, the narrative was that we were all going to live in the metaverse, and therefore all metaverse and even linked into gaming tokens went absolutely nuclear, just like we saw with the Decentraland, this one right here that pumped absolutely crazy past $5 from a low of like 5 cents down here, a nice 100x return. But we're not all living in the metaverse, even though we probably will in the future, and it probably won't be Decentraland. But that doesn't change the fact that the narrative is what people FOMO into. The narrative that AI is going to change the world, and AI will change the world over 5 to 10 to 20 years, but specifically in Web 3, it's going to pump and then it's going to come hard down the other side. And so what I want you to know is you need to be positioned now, because we're in alt season. Even if we have a couple more pullbacks, you need to be positioned before things get euphoric. If things are already euphoric, it's too late. And a lot of people, by definition, will join at the top. That is when you need to be getting out. But also have clear exit targets, otherwise you'll get caught up in that euphoria. CryptoGodJohn says, Thawa, OpenVPP, and Modular Season. These are the 3 tokens I literally talked about yesterday, and they are up 50, 70, and I think 10%, which is absolutely unreal. That's why you need to be subscribed to this channel. And now, John says, when a new trend emerges. Now, what is the new trend that we've been talking about? Because the old trend was metaverse. The old trend was crypto gaming. The old trend was DeFi. This season round, the new trend is robotics and AI. You want to be bidding the leaders, not the betas. Now, I do agree, at least without going into too much detail here, that the leaders of the category, the first movers of the category, tend to run the most, at least initially. But then you'll have the late runners like Altura was late to gaming, do absolutely nuclear things once the bull market and once altcoin season is confirmed. And EMDR is one of these leaders. That is why it's pumping right now, back to $50, I guess. He says something robotics, AI, and Amazon. This is the narrative right here, guys, that people are going to be FOMOing and aping into. Not only are they in robotics, not only are they in AI, but they also have some form of affiliation with Amazon. And even here, Coin Guru plots EMDR hitting that $70 per token and then up to $100 per token. CryptoGodJohn says, looks good, send it. I just wanted to show you this crazy day that Modular has actually had from the lows down here at $30 all the way up. This peaked very quickly, almost at a 2x on the day at $58, settled around at about 55. That's a 70% gain here, and it's pulled back to be a 53% gainer on the day, guys. That is what altcoin season looks like. And CryptoGodJohn gives you this advice. Don't over trade. He says the hardest thing to do at times is nothing at all. If you're already positioned, you no longer need to be trading. You no longer need to be refreshing the charts. If you're not positioned, you need to be positioning yourself now. Once you can master the art of sitting on your hands, you unlock new levels to your trading and investing abilities. And honestly, this is what CryptoGodJohn has taught me, because something like OXO, which used to be CryptoGodJohn's favorite token, I bought into on his conviction and was like, why isn't it pumped yet? It's been like 3 days. But after a couple of months, it had 3, 4, 5x from my entry point. And after a few months, it had literally 12x from my entry point. I'm like, wow, he has literally taught me how to hold coins, hold my conviction in them, and realize that they're going to go up over the long term and not literally refresh the chart every single day. If you think you're ready for altcoin season, I want to show you this photo right here. This is Graph AI, which was a recent Alex Becker project partnership. We track over 40 Alex Becker wallets. We track CryptoGodJohn wallets. We track other Wealth Group boys wallets. We track all the big dogs in the space. We reverse engineer the blockchain in order to identify their wallets so we can see and get clean alerts in our Telegram newsfeed when they buy into or get partnerships with new projects. And we saw Alex Becker receiving tokens and publicly talking on a reply on Twitter about Graph AI at this price point down here at about 80 cents. What happens? He makes it public, he makes a YouTube video about it, and it absolutely soars. And so if you want to join us in the inner circle and get literally an unfair advantage, knowing what the big KOLs, the big influencers, and the best traders in the world are doing the second that they do it, without waiting for them to talk about it on Twitter, without waiting for them to promote it on YouTube, and then maybe being too late, maybe being exit liquidity. Come move up the news cycle with us. Come get a premium news feed that literally will show you all the activity from your favorite KOLs and influencers who are literally going to be printing millions over the next few months. The link to that is the inner circle. It's in the description below. Click that link and sign up. I'm excited to see you there.